Episode 4. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Our Gen Podcast,
Episode 4.
As always, your hosts.
This is Luna.
And that right there is Chooch.
There we go.
That right there is Chooch.
What? Anyways, so we're back in the Orlando studio.
Orlando's.
For those of you guys who don't know,
we probably should have said this in episode 3.
well, now they know.
Now you know. This is the Orlando studio. The orange and off-white, khaki,
Off-white, yeah.
beige.
The
orange
studio.
and beige studio is Fort Pierce studio.
So
Navy blue with the nice pictures of Orlando. You know, budgets are different for different cities, I guess.
I guess so.
Hopefully,
Yes,
you know, I feel good. You know, every time I record a video, I'm like anxious for it to come out. Even though we've already watched this one 3 or 4 times over, but I'm excited. Like every time a video's gonna drop, I want it to drop. You know what I'm saying? Like I want it to drop.
Yeah, we already know. The support's been crazy too. Honestly, low-key, it's been...
We're literally just 2 dudes, like one from Fort Pierce and one from Orlando. We kind of just wanted to do it, and we did it. And the hardest part of it was kind of just
getting it done.
doing it. That was the hardest part, doing it.
But anyways, today's topic is going to be...
First of all, a very controversial topic.
There you go, morning. So those of you guys who are sensitive and get your panties in a bunch,
Perfect one.
you can... Or you can exit out now. We still get that view, so...
Perfect episode for you
uh,
if you're very opinionated. But it's if college sport players should get paid.
athletes.
College athletes. There you go.
College sport players.
College sport players should get paid. College athletes, if college
Should they get paid while playing in college?
if they should get paid or not.
No, I think I'm 100% sure we have different views on this topic, different opinions, and I personally believe that they should get paid. Just laying that out there, I think they should get paid.
For me, I do nothing they should get paid, but I can see the reasoning behind both sides. You know, obviously, I think the argument for why they should get paid is, first of all, the school is making money off them. The school is making
that's probably the biggest
amount
reason.
of money off of them.
Yeah. Crazy amount of money.
Yeah. Another thing, you know, their schedules as students are already crowded enough, and now you're adding sports and practice and games and this and that. I get that. I get it. I understand it. Why people might feel that way. But I think I have a pretty good argument on why they shouldn't. And just looking at the surface of it, you know, I can see why people think they should get paid. They should get paid.
Right.
Just the surface of it. And I'm not gonna be done with you. Whenever the first thing would first come up on Twitter, I was like, yeah, they should get paid for it.
Yeah.
And then I started doing a lot of research, and obviously, whatever I wanna look up, I'm gonna look up. But I started doing a lot of research on it and a lot of
Confirmation bias is what that's called, for those of you guys who don't know. When you look up information that
about a topic, you're only gonna be intrigued by what you want to hear. Basically.
it's when you're basically your research or the information that you get is confirming what you believe. Go ahead though.
Did a lot of research, did a lot of reading, and the more I read, and the
Surprising, huh? Reading.
The more, I don't even know how to say it, bro. The more in depth I got into it, it started making a lot less sense for a player to get paid. And I'm just jump right into it. Off the top of my head, you know, just things. At the end of the day, who gets paid? Does every last athlete under that school get paid, or only one kind of sport, or this or that? Who gets paid?
No, it should be just like, in my opinion, it should be just like every other sport, where it's every, you know, like if you're a professional athlete, which college players are not professional athletes, but we can agree that college players or college athletes are pretty top tier for
Their age, whatever.
Exactly. It's, you know, it goes, you know, you got your great high school players, like, you know, when you're in high school and you're playing with someone good, you know who's as good as what, and then making it to college is like a whole, you know, you get all those good people. and then making it D1, whatever the case is. But then to pro, it's like the best out of that. You know what I mean? And I think it should obviously be based off of like talent and recruitment level. Now, I do think if they were to get paid, those things should be able to be adjusted. For example, like if you recruit, if you have a high school recruit and he doesn't pan out to be what he should be, it should be kind of adjusted. Maybe like a rookie type of thing.
You don't think they should be guaranteed contracts?
I was about to get into that. Maybe like a rookie type of guaranteed
rookie
like
maximum,
a freshman, sophomore,
rookie maximum veteran.
Yeah, something like that, just to see kind of where they're at. And to be fair, obviously you don't want. Let's say you're a stud, you don't want to be getting paid, or if they were to get paid, you don't want to be getting paid pennies. But there should be some sort of compensation, is what I think.
Now, question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's say you're recruited and they sign you the contract for the student to get paid is 4 years, freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year, right?
I think they should start with a 2-year contract.
Now, what if they leave Zion Williamson? He left after his freshman year. What happens to the other year that needs to be get paid?
You wouldn't be able to leave. You'd be stuck to that contract.
And then you get hurt in your second year there. Then, thanks to that contract, if you're getting paid, you miss your shot in the NBA.
Not if you can get like an extension.
An extension against the NBA?
No, you're saying, okay.
I'm saying, look, you said they shouldn't be able to leave the college if they still have to do one more year on the contract, right?
Correct. So it would be like a freshman, sophomore contract.
Now, let's say their sophomore year, they get hurt.
Okay.
And that is the reason why they can't go to the NBA anymore, because their career is pretty much over.
All right.
Then thanks to that contract of them getting paid, you literally just held back that person from the NBA. Because if you were let that for his freshman year, then he at least already has an NBA contract.
I don't understand what you're saying.
You signed for 2 years, freshman and sophomore year.
Yeah.
Zion Williamson, he left after his freshman year. Now, if that contract, the second year said he had to stay in the college for 1 more year, what if in the second year of his college contract, he gets hurt and that ends his career? Now, thanks to that 2-year contract, you're forced to stay at the school for that second year is literally the sole reason why you couldn't at least get 1 year in the NBA and actually start getting endorsement money and getting all of this serious money because you had to use 1 more year in college thanks to that 2-year contract.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Then that forced second year is the sole reason why you missed the shot. Because even if you have 1 year in the NBA, even if you're not good, you at least can officially start getting sponsorships, deals. Whenever you sign with the team, even if you retire the next day, they owe you every last penny.
Mm-hmm.
For an example, perfect example, Bobby Bonilla, the Mets guy. He's been retired for years now, but the Mets are still going to be paying him $1.1 million every year until 2025 because they owe him every last dime.
Yeah.
Now, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's like, thanks to that 1 more year that you're stuck at the school, you get hurt, you miss your shot.
You wouldn't be at that time.
Yeah.
But it would be delayed.
What do you mean?
It would just be delayed.
Your shot at the NBA would be delayed?
Yeah.
No. I'm saying, what if it was literally an injury that was
done?
Like, your fucking career's over.
Why would your career be over?
There's been injuries where your career will literally never be the same.
All right,
and especially if NBA teams looking at you when a serious injury happens and they're like, you know what, we're no longer going to invest our money in this player because for all we know that injury is going to be lingering and this is.
But that's how it is. If you get injured, they're not going to pick you up.
That's what I'm saying. So thanks to that second forced year, you miss your shot at the NBA because you're not going to pick you up.
Yeah, but even if you weren't in a contract and you got a career-ending injury, you're not going to get picked up anyways.
But I'm saying he got hurt that second year at the forced second year at the school. Now, if he would have left after his freshman year, even if he played 2 games in the NBA before he got that same injury, how I said at least now he has the NBA contract that's guaranteed, and at least now he has serious endorsement possibilities, serious sponsorship possibilities. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
That's one of my arguments.
So that is an argument, but at the same time, what is the counter argument to the athletes bringing in the money?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I see what you're saying now.
So I get what you mean too. The athletes bringing the money. That's what allows the.
So because that's a separate point, but I see what you're saying with that point.
Another point I have written down. For an example, Miami Marlins star pitcher Jose Fernandez, the one that died in 2016, September, I want to say 25th. 2016, he died in a boating accident. He was 24. He died. You know, what the cause of death was he was like all blowed out and was drunk as fuck and they're riding the boat.
Okay.
And you're 24 years old and that kind of money you can't even live seriously because the money's you catch up to you, drugs, alcohol, strip, hookers, whatever the fuck you want. And you're 18, fresh out of high school, and you're getting serious money.
Who says they're getting like, you know,
even if they only get $1 million for the, that's still $1 million to an 18-year-old.
You don't think it should be like maybe, let's say, a $50,000?
But if it's only giving $50,000, I thought that player was bringing hella money for the school. Then where does
the point isn't to make these guys super big millionaires. The point is to compensate them for what they're bringing.
But let's say
to
they bring the school $3 million and only giving them $50,000, then
$50,000 is a lot better than zero.
But dude, you're getting your school for free though. Like,
not every college athlete is getting into school for free. You know, you're talking about the big sports. You have your football, your freaking basketball. Obviously, the two big sports. Now you have smaller sports. Obviously, it's by popularity, right?
But then that's a whole
time out. It's by popularity. So I do think, you know, the football players, the basketball players, because it is more popular and there are more eyes watching it, they should get paid more. But let's say someone who does a smaller sport like wrestling, right? And I wrestled in high school. So you think of a wrestler and what they go through. There's no real outlet for them to ever make money. Sponsorships, okay, you got that, but really they're not making any money and they're professional athletes, you know. But those athletes, they're not getting, to get a wrestling scholarship, most wrestling scholarships are, you might get 1 year paid for. And the rest of them is like, oh, come to this school, but you still got to pay. Or you might get half a year paid for. But it's more of a recruitment thing than a scholarship. Now that athlete, he's going to that school, but okay, so this athlete is a college athlete. He's going to this school, and he's going to be in debt for the most part. Let's be honest. He'll be in debt, and there's tournaments, big wrestling tournaments that do bring viewers. Again, not as big as March Madness basketball viewership. Definitely nowhere even near that. But they bring viewers. They sell tickets to go to the venue. You know what I mean?
So do you think that wrestler should get the same amount of money as a superstar of basketball or no?
No, that's what I said.
Okay, that's the popularity thing. But if you're the best wrestler in fucking college, just because it's not popular enough, if you're the best wrestler, why not get the same amount of money as?
Because you don't bring the viewership. It's all on
a ticket to a college basketball game does not cost as much as a ticket to an NBA game.
That's fine, but you're still bringing in a lot of, you know, TV deals.
So if you're the very best wrestler,
yeah, versus the very best basketball player, college basketball player, should you be making the same amount of money? In my opinion,
if you're the very best at your individual sport, it doesn't matter about popularity. I honestly think if you're the very best at your respective sport, it doesn't matter how popular or how not popular it is. You should be getting the same exact. If you're paying students, you should be getting paid the same exact money as the best and this guy, because at the end of the day, if you're number one, you should be getting number one money. I don't care how much. Let's say the number one guy is getting paid only $50,000, like you said.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Now let's say the wrestler is getting $50,000 as well. That he's easily making that back for the school. You know what I'm saying? It's not they're going to be in debt with him. You know what I'm saying? So like, why not get paid the same amount? If you're number one, you should get number one money.
Because it's still funding. It's still based off of, you know, what it's compensating the athlete, but the point of these athletes getting paid is they're making the money for the school. Now, if you're a wrestler and you're a top wrestler, right? But wrestling, let's say, I don't know the statistics. I really don't know the statistics. You look at like viewership of the wrestling, NCAA. I think that actually goes on at the same time as basketball. But look at the finals, like how many people viewed. If you could find that really quick and compare,
that's gonna be hard to find.
Compare it for, I'm sure they give those numbers out. Let me know if you can find it. But obviously, the viewership is not going to be equal. A lot more eyes on basketball, right? So a lot more eyes, that's a lot more ticket sales, that's a lot more views, and that's bringing in a lot more money. So if your sport, even if you're the best, like great, that's a nice, happy world, perfect world, then yeah, everything would be equal. But guess what? Sports aren't created equally. It's not like that. It's Unfortunately, this guy he's an elite athlete, an elite college athlete, but his sport is not bringing the eyes or viewership, so he shouldn't be getting paid as much. It's compensating the athlete for the money that they bring in to the school because of what they do, if that makes sense, in my opinion. So yeah, you can look at basketball, this stuff where you have do you have it?
Yeah, I got it. The semifinals in 2018,
For what?
wrestling, NCAA, 451,000.
Okay. And now see if you could find the semifinals for basketball.
It seems like triple that number.
It's gonna be a lot. It's definitely gonna be.
If you do your research and all that bullshit, if it obviously costs money to run a school, you have to pay the workers that work at the stadium. You have to pay teachers or professors. You have to pay deans. You have to pay all these different people. You have to pay everybody all the way down to the fucking janitors that wipe this shit off the toilet.
All right.
You do realize, and I actually did research on this. The people, for example, private school is obviously owned by somebody or whatever, right?
Yeah.
By the time that school, after they pay everybody, this is not paying students. This is not paying college athletes.
Mm-hmm.
By the time they pay everybody, teachers, deans, janitors, this, that, they barely have enough money to even call it a business or a, right? Now, and that's not paying college athletes.
1 second. To interrupt. Now, do you get that study from? Did you find a number?
Oh yeah, I have numbers.
All right. What was the number?
Well, for March Madness, round 1, this was Duke versus North Dakota State, had 6.22 million.
That's round 1.
Yeah, and round 2, when they played Florida, 12.88 million.
So that's crazy. But anyways, the research. Now, do you get that research from a college site, someone getting paid from the college, or from an outside source? Because it's similar but different. See if you can follow me and like where I'm going with this. All right, so like let's say, you go to people who start over here in Orlando at UCF and Valencia. Valencia is obviously going to tell you like, oh, start here. It's going to be cheaper, and you're going to get your first 2 years done, and then you only pay 2 years expensive at UCF, right? But UCF is going to say, no, don't, like, it's better to start here because you get the rigor and you're used to the rigor first. You see what I'm saying?
I don't know what the rigor is.
The rigor, like, you're going to get used to like, the toughness of the classes. They're not going to be as easy as like a Valencia class would be. So if you get the research from the school, they're obviously going to tell you something that benefits them.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I didn't get a research from like fucking USC.com. No, I got it was like an actual study.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who the fuck owned the website.
Yeah, who did the study, yeah.
When it comes down to straight up numbers, especially if it's a private school, they barely have enough money to even call it profitable. That's not paying student athletes. That's literally because you gotta think about it. Professors, they don't make a fuck ton of money, but they make decent money. A college professional makes decent money.
They make okay money.
Then you got
most
deans.
of them are still in college in debt.
Deans get money. They get.
Yeah, deans get money.
And there's not just one dean. There's like several deans, right?
Okay.
And then you go all the way down, to janitors. Let's say they make fucking $11 an hour, $12 an hour, whatever the fuck they make.
Who knows?
You literally have to pay everybody on your staff. And it's not 100 people on your staff. It's hundreds and hundreds, maybe even thousands of people on your payroll. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to pay these people. And that's without paying college athletes. That's how they barely get by. And they barely have enough money.
But what about the tuition to a private college? Do you know how much that is?
Oh, it's a lot.
It's ridiculous. Now, if you have a ton of, let's even take it out of a private college. Now, just go like UCF,
Regular.
UCF, whatever. This is what I know. You have over 60,000 students, right? Some come and pay out-of-state tuition, which is a lot more per year, and some do in-state tuition. In-state, you're probably looking around $7,000 a year.
No.
Now, let's say everybody paid $7,000 a year. Multiply the $7,000 times 60,000, please.
Yeah, gotcha. 420,000. You said
$7,000 times 60,000.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
$7,000 times 60, so 7,000 times
Yeah.
60,000.
Now you're looking at 420 million.
That's off of tuition alone. Now you have your events. They make money off the books.
But the events cost money to run too.
Yeah, and that's just if everybody. That's just if everybody paid in state. Now you're looking at out of state. What's that like? 15 grand, maybe 20 grand, something like that.
What if people that get financial aid and people that really go there on a fucking full ride scholarship and stuff?
So
I'll give you benefit of that.
We'll call it 7 grand.
I'll give you
to
benefit
cancel
of
it all out, we'll call it 7 grand. That's 420 million. You said 420 million. You really think that their expenses are gonna with staffing? I doubt they even spend 20 million on staffing. I highly doubt that.
What about after literally everything they need though?
As
Like
in-
you literally need things all the way down to fucking paper towels,
All right, but
toilet. Like
you also get for event staffing and stuff like that. You have people who volunteer and do that, and they get hours and
Yeah,
shit like
volunteer
that.
hours.
So those people run events too. They don't pay every single person to run events.
But what about the things that they sell? Like at the end of the day, you have to. Events aren't free. Doesn't matter how many people are volunteering. You need to buy the things to sell the things. If you want to sell fruit punch, you have to go buy fruit punch.
But you still make profit out of it. And it's usually a way higher profit margin than what you're paying for, especially because you're buying in bulk. For example, this is a completely unrelated topic, but you'll see where I'm going. When I worked at Winn-Dixie, one day, this dude I worked with, Philip, shout out to Philip. I haven't seen him in like 4 years, so you're not going to see this. But if you do, subscribe. He was just like a nosy motherfucker, and he went through the manager's desk in the deli, and he looked, and he was like looking at like what we would purchase, and because they'd always be like, oh, for example, I was in the bakery, they'd be like, oh, this is expensive, so if we're not selling a lot of this, we're not gonna like make it. But basically, they have like a sheet, and it tells you your profit margin for the month of what you made off of how much you spent. Now, a lot of those things, Winn-Dixie was making, like the store, obviously they have stuff to pay for example, stuff that doesn't sell. They have to pay people. They have to pay employees. They have to pay light. You know what I mean? All that stuff. Bills. They have expenses, but off of what they were making, most of this stuff was like 97% profit that they were making off of what we would sell. That's a crazy amount of profit. Now I'm not saying
is that just that store? Or is that Winn-Dixie as a whole?
No, that was just that store. This is just an example though. And Winn-Dixie doesn't sell a lot. Like that Winn-Dixie is supposed to have been out of business a while ago. But that was the profit margin of what they were making. Now, I'm not saying that the colleges or universities, whatever, are making that much of a profit margin on what they're selling, but you better believe they're making a profit margin. And tuition goes up each and every year. It's not getting any cheaper. More and more people are going to school. You're making more and more money. It's not like they're adding more and more college athletes. It's, you still have your roster number. You're still cutting, you know what I mean? You're making more and more money. You're selling cups, license plates, jerseys, shirts, sweaters. You have all this merch with sports stuff on it. You know what I mean? They support the sports. You got alumni still buying merch. You know what I mean? So it's not like they're not making a ton of money, not just off of tuition, off of everything they sell. You see what I'm saying? So it's, yeah, they make a lot of money, but if the sport is bringing you and these athletes are bringing you money, they should be compensated in some type of way. And again, I'm not.
I mean, they are compensated with free school though. That's already an advantage.
But
is it
not all of them. That's the thing.
But going back to what you said about the top athletes, if you're a top athlete, believe me, you're gonna get free.
If you're a top wrestler, you're still not. Because they're given, actually, the coach from Missouri.
Yeah, but wrestling, I mean, what career is that? What are you going to go to the WWE?
No, it's not even comparable.
That's what I'm saying. Like a wrestler, that's
You're
fucking
still
wrestling,
bringing in
like-
400,000 viewers though, and that's selling tickets. That's watching on television.
Now, do these schools have contracts with the televisers, like the companies that televise NCAA, or no?
I'm sure they do. I don't know. I'm sure they have like some type of contract with NCAA, but I don't know how that works. To be honest, you can look that up right now if you want, but I don't know exactly how that works. But in general, I'm saying not all, like how you said, all athletes. If you're number one, you should be compared to number one. If they're getting paid, they should be the same. No, it's not. It's not comparable, but you should still be compensated for bringing in some type of view. You know what? Maybe people who are walk-on and stuff like that, maybe they shouldn't get paid. Who knows?
My
what I
thing,
mean?
dude.
Some people go and they're just used to practice.
You
Go
know,
ahead.
Johnny Manziel, Johnny Football.
Yeah.
Remember how he got in trouble for
Nah.
selling autographs and selling after jerseys he wore in a game, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
That was probably the first college athlete to get serious fucking money, like because there was no way he wasn't making money somehow,
Yeah.
some way. Look what happened to him.
That's it.
He's not even in the fucking NFL no more. He was
That's
a fucking
fine.
alcoholic.
But he was making money off of what he thought he could be making.
But
And you know-
look how it turned out though. If you're a young stud, first of all, the college party scene is already big enough.
Yeah.
Now you're getting money. If you even if it's only $50,000, if I'm 19, if I got $50,000, you think I'm putting that bitch in savings? I'm gonna go get whatever kind of pickup I want. I'm gonna go buy whatever that you're young. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I mean that literally he literally turned into an alcoholic who now is nothing.
He doesn't play for.
He played in the Canada League. The
Canada
Canada League went under. They went in like $200 million. That's it. They're done. He was the first college athlete to get serious. I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
every last athlete's in a turn because they're not. Some people are really smart with their money.
But that's what we
Some
have
people
to,
have guidance.
to base off of.
Some people do have guidance.
Yeah.
Now, you do have to think, dude. If some of these players, even if it's only $50,000, that's if you're 18, 19 years old, $50,000, dude.
Yeah, of
You won't even
course.
make that in a
And-
year. Like if you're working a fucking 9 to 5, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
and that's $50,000. Boom. From obviously, if they did pay the students, maybe it wouldn't be upfront. Maybe they'd give
Yeah,
them
like throughout
$8,000
something.
every
Yeah.
now and then. I get
Uh-huh.
that,
Yeah.
but let's just say they would pay him up front, even if it is payments. Even if you get a payment, let's say you get a monthly check of fucking $5,000. Like that's.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think it's a dangerous game to play, especially as a college student where you're already exposed to all of that.
So, are you saying you're worried about the college students?
Literally turning
Futures
out to be nothing
and-
because they're going to be fuck ups.
All right. Well, what happens to the college athletes who literally they're just in college because of athletics and they go there? They don't really focus in school because they think that they're gonna make it pro. They don't make it pro, and then they end up becoming fuck ups or don't do shit. Look at JID. We talk a lot of hip hop, and JID. What happened with him? He went to school and played football. He doesn't ever really come out and say why he got kicked out of the school, but he got kicked out of school, went back to his hood, and basically became shit until he really started focusing on his rapping. He became a nothing and was broken, not doing shit. Now he's something, but what happens to all the other people who are in similar situations? Maybe they don't get kicked out, but they finish, and maybe they don't finish school. Whatever the case is, they don't go pro. They get a degree in something that they really don't understand. They just kind of went to go to school because they thought they were going to make it in the next league, and now they have shit.
Because they weren't getting paid.
Not because they weren't getting paid, but because they could have had a job. But guess what? You have so much obligations and time when you're a college athlete. Plus, you have your classes. You have no time for a job.
Yeah, no, but you're saying that.
No, I'm saying if you're so worried about the people becoming nothing and doing shit with their lives, what happens right now with all the people currently who they're not getting paid and they're still becoming shit with their lives? It doesn't.
But
Really
you
make a
literally just said because they thought they were gonna go pro. Yeah. Honestly, I get it. Going to class is hard. Blah blah blah. Your schedule's cramped. At the end of the day, you're a student first. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
But you think every college athlete thinks that
if
they're
they
a
don't,
student
man,
first?
that's their fault. You are responsible for your act. You're responsible for the way you think. You're responsible for what you take priority first or not.
If you're responsible for what you think and what you take priority first, then you can't blame them for blowing all their money and becoming alcoholics if they get paid. That's their responsibility. Everybody could be responsible enough to make smarter decisions with their money and not fall into that.
So
if
then,
you want to blame it on
everybody
responsibility.
can be smart enough to at least try their fucking hardest and get good grades, just in case this sport shit doesn't work out.
Yeah, that's fine, but they should also get paid too.
For what? For making the school money? Like,
Yes,
I don't think that's a valid argument, bro. I really don't.
that's
First of all, all right. Let's all right. You said obviously the wrestlers get 1 year free and that's it or whatever, right?
if you're a top level,
And if not, you get no years free.
pretty much. Yeah,
Alright.
you're like a walk on.
Yeah, yeah. So let's just say the wrestlers, whatever.
Okay.
Now let's go to another money sport like fucking golf. You play golf, you have fucking money. Like that's a money sport, right?
Okay.
A lot of people like golf or whatever. if you making the money school or whatever, I mean, if you're making the school money or whatever, and that's something you're like, oh, if I'm making the school money, I should be getting paid. Why don't you go to a smaller school? Like, honestly, like, if you're that good and your talent's gonna speak for itself, and you're worried about, oh, I'm not getting paid, so I don't want to make this school this much money. Go to a small school. If you're that good, you're gonna get attention regardless, or at least in theory, you should be getting attention regardless, right?
It's exposure though.
But if you're that good, you should be getting your attention. You should be getting the athletic attention. You should be getting the eyes of scouts, in the eyes of people of importance, so to speak.
Okay.
Regardless, I get what you mean. The schools do help with exposure, because if you go to Duke versus if you go to fucking even a school that's still as big as UCLA, but UCLA versus Duke, you know what I mean? Like, Duke's obviously going to get way more fucking attention than UCLA. And that's even crazy because UCLA is a big ass fucking school. You know what I mean? So I get that. I get the whole exposure thing. But honestly, if you're a college athlete and you seriously think I should be getting paid because I'm making this school too much money, go to a small school if you're that good.
They're still not going to pay you though. So what?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But if that's your argument, like as a college student, and that's the way you think, like I should be getting paid because I'm making this school this much money, then go to a school that they're not going to be selling that much tickets. They're not going to fucking be on TV because they're a small school. If your numbers are going to speak for themselves, your numbers are going to speak for themselves. There's professional athletes in today's day and age that didn't go D1. There's professional athletes that came out of CJ McCollum. He came out of a fucking school that nobody's ever been drafted out of. Yeah. If you're that good, your talents are going to speak for themselves.
Yeah, so but those are the exceptions. I don't think your argument is like a very good one right now. Like what you're saying, I don't think that's a very good argument.
I don't think that, my opinion, I really don't think like the whole you making the school money is a good, I think that's stupid.
So, okay.
Whenever you work for a company, you're making the fucking company money. Doesn't mean you should be getting CEO money if you're an employee.
And you're not. That's what I'm saying. Give a top athlete 50 grand. Maybe a smaller one 5 grand. Who knows? But get compensated somehow. It's the same thing. Like, all right, I work for Walmart and I make Walmart hundreds of billions of dollars profit, right? I'm not the one making them profit. An athlete is making a lot more profit than like a regular Walmart person is making them.
Yeah,
First
but
of
if
all,
you're
wait.
You're comparing a bag boy at Walmart to an employee. I'm talking like
let's talk a president, a regional
making
president,
deals and making
a regional president of Walmart. Let's call it, right? No, let's do. You work at Dunder Mifflin, and you're Dwight Schrute, and you have hella sales. Now, should you be compensated for the sales that you're getting?
If you're a salesman, you do get fucking commission.
So you're a salesman. You're making this person money, so you're getting paid extra based on your work. Now, let's say it was an even playing field, and it's like, you know what? You're making us money, but we're giving you a job, and everybody's going to be at a $50,000 rate.
That's it, because we got your job.
Yeah, but you're like a superstar, like you're Dwight Schrute, you're making sales left and right, big deals, whatever. You don't think, and you're making, Dunder Mifflin's a small company, and you're making the company a lot of money. You don't think you should be compensated for that?
If you're making the company a lot of money, you're that good of an employee, believe me, somebody in management is going to notice that, and you're going to run to the fucking ranks if you're that good of an employee. Dwight Schrute didn't go high in the ranks because he's fucking Dwight Schrute. You know what I'm saying? But as you said, that wasn't Dwight Schrute. Let's say that's employee A.
Let's say Jim who moved.
Jim up. But you see, like, this is a little. But if you're a good enough employee, if you're a good enough athlete, if you're a good enough everything, if you put your time, your effort, and you give everything you got to something, you're making
the school a lot of money. A lot of money.
Yeah.
Let's say you're on the basketball team and you're a superstar basketball player. How many players are on the roster of a college basketball team? What is it? Probably like 12?
No, I think it's more than that. Because there's 5 men on the field and you have your second unit. That's 10.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't watch college
18?
basketball, so I really don't know.
What's the roster, man?
15 players.
15? Okay.
15 players. So 15 players are making the school. Look up we'll say Duke, or let's just use an average school. What's
the middle of that school though?
What's the middle of the road? Who knows? Like put like kind of a known school, but not like LSU. Put LSU, like net profit from basketball or some shit like that, and see how much they're profiting. Net profit, so it'd be
Well,
like
LSU's strong point is football though, so maybe you should do football instead.
it doesn't. I don't think it makes too much of a difference. I think my point will get across. You know what I mean? You should be able to find out how much they're making. If they release the numbers, which I think they do. If they
They release it, but they don't release it for specific sports. It's generated in revenue for 2018 was 145.4 million.
between all the sports,
That was just their
Athletics?
Athletics.
athletics,
That's all
100
sports.
what? Yeah, that's fine.
145 million.
145 million. Now, let's say basketball players probably bring in a lot of that. Basketball players and football
Most of
players.
the point, most of the
So, you could divvy that up from whatever it is, but again, you don't have to be paying these guys millions of dollars. It's
But
thousands.
the thing is, let's just say college
And
students.
they're still going to be up by at least. Sorry to interrupt you. They're still going to be up by at least 140 million,
Right now, let's just say
and that's net.
let's say if the schools did pay them, let's just say let's say if it was $50,000 if you're a really good basketball player, or even let's say you want to jump the gun and it's $200,000 if you're a really good basketball player, right? Let's just say that's a lot of money. Let's just say
Okay.
for an example.
Yeah.
Now, what if you in your head your ego is kind of big, or even if your ego is not big, and you're like, you know what? If I'm making this school this much money, why am I not making that much more?
Mm-hmm.
Then I feel like for me, I feel like it'd almost be a never-ending. It'd be like a chain effect.
It would kind of be like
It'd get out of control almost.
it would be like professional sports where it's like, oh, like the new biggest contract breaks, whatever. But what's bad about that? If they have the funding and the money to do that.
But the thing is, that's not. The thing is, dude. The reason why I don't think that argument is
And you know,
because, for example, Duke, they can have no good players, they're still gonna have fans, right? Like that's kind of the way it is.
Okay.
Mike Trout, center fielder for the Angels, signed the biggest contract in MLB history, $432 million, was it? I think it was 432 or 400 and almost $500 million.
Okay.
But he's the best MLB player right now, maybe ever, whatever.
430 million, 12 years.
430 million, 12 years. I can guarantee you, each night the Angels don't come close to ever selling out the stadium ever,
Mm-hmm.
because they're not a good team.
Okay.
Now he's a really good fucking player,
Yeah.
but just because you're a really good fucking player, if your team isn't good, believe me, it's not gonna reflect on the amount of money your team or you're making your team or whatever. Now schools, since I honestly think if you're a fan of a school, that's a little silly because we have a different team every other year or whatever, but.
Yeah.
Another example, Giancarlo Stanton, when he played for Miami, he had, at that time, the biggest contract in MLB history. Miami probably sells 9,000 tickets a fucking night. And that's a stadium that hosts 37,000, 38,000. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just because, like, you're the best, a lot of times you might not be the only reason your school is making money, because having, for example, the only reason I'm saying Zion's name over North because he's like a perfect example. Duke's not going to have Zion Williamson next year. I can almost guarantee you they're going to make the same amount of money with or without him.
In
Because
short,
people like Duke.
in short, what you're saying is, okay, I see what you're saying. You're saying that the players aren't necessarily the ones bringing all the revenue. I see what you're saying.
the history of the team.
I see what you're saying.
I think the success of the overall team is what, because
like
if
having alumni.
if Duke has 11 straight losing seasons, I don't think it matters if they have the best player in the country. If they can't win, if they can't get to the tournaments, if they can't do this, why would anybody go pay to see that? You understand what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
So that's like, I just think if you start paying players, it's gonna.
I see what you're saying.
Maybe in hindsight, maybe honestly, maybe college players should get paid. Maybe they really should.
Mm-hmm.
But then, if you're, like, for an example, going back to what I was saying, let's say your team starts losing, and then it's like, then you're really not bringing the fucking money, because I think what attracts a fan base at the end of the day is winning.
Okay.
It's winning. At the end of the Yankees, they've had really, really bad years, and you will see the stadium where it's almost kind of empty. Now, the Yankees are one of the best teams in the MLB right now, and their stadium's probably sold out every night.
Yeah.
And sure, they have, Stan I was getting paid shit ton of money or whatever, but at the end of the day, what attracts people is winning. You want to see your favorite team win.
Okay.
Nobody's going to pay to see their favorite team lose. If you're 50 games under 500, NBA regular season is 81 games.
Something like that.
I think it's 81 games. Let's just say your favorite team is, even being 15 games under is pretty bad. right? That's gonna be really hard to get out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's gonna want to go pay to see you fucking lose and lose and lose. The fucking whenever the Charlotte Bobcats were a thing, they could have had fucking Michael Jordan on their team. If you're fucking losing back to back to back to back games,
Yeah,
you're not gonna be making money. You know what I mean?
That's what you're saying.
So what makes the schools money, I think, isn't the players. I think it's the history the team has.
The brand itself.
It's the brand. It's the fact that everybody knows that Duke is King Dick. The fact that everybody knows that the fucking Oklahoma Sooners, you know, they're kind of known for having a good team every year. They're going to go deep in the playoffs. It doesn't matter if they have the best players or not. It's the brand. It's the fact that people know the football team is going to be good is what bringing people to the stadium. You really think UCF will send out their stadium whenever they weren't going 13-0?
Nah.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's a pretty strong argument that you're making, but
I think if they did start paying him, it just.
I don't see a problem with that though. If they're really netting a lot of money.
But let's say they stopped because it started being bad. Or let's say like even going back to the injuries. Let's say he got injured and he can't play a couple games or whatever, and then after that your team kind of starts losing, or even if he comes back, it's kind of hard for the team to get back on a roll or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Then like at the end of the day, you should have don't want to pay to see your team lose.
Okay.
It's like.
I see what you're saying. I don't know.
I really don't think the athletes as individuals bring them that much money. I think overall it's just the popularity of it, of the sport itself, of the history that Duke is good basketball teams, the history.
But what makes them good? The players.
Yeah, but let's say they start losing, how I was saying.
But they're not. If they start losing, then they make less money, and the incoming players, whatever it is, they get paid less. You're still not going to be. You could be probably one of the shittiest teams there is, and unless you have like a fucking recreational team, which that like a club team, then you shouldn't be getting paid for that. But you still have money to give out scholarships and shit like that, and you're still netting a shit ton of money. And it doesn't have to be, again, it shouldn't be millions.
Mm-hmm.
It should be thousands, 50,000, 20,000, 30. You know, something like a job.
But you really don't think the players are gonna be like, I'm only getting $30,000 for all the money I'm making in school?
I think they would be a lot happier making $30,000 than not making anything at all.
I think the first players that get paid would be happy about it. Then after a couple of years, that it's a normal thing for college athletes to get paid, they're gonna start being like, you know what, I want more money.
Yeah, that's true.
Believe me, the first 5 years that cut, it's gonna be hell yeah. I'm making. Last year I was making no money.
But it's gonna be. I see what you're saying.
That's what I mean by it's gonna get out of control. It's after 10 years, people are gonna start taking it for granted and be like, you know what, I need $1 million, because they're not gonna know the luxury it is of being a paid college athlete. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they're gonna take it for granted. Put it that way.
There's also something to be said about like a lot of people who prefer to watch college sports think that it's, you know, they're not getting paid. That's why it's a little bit more competitive sometimes.
Because you're playing for heart, not for money.
And to make it to
to
get
you're
paid,
playing.
you know?
You're playing. At the end of the day,
you're not guaranteed any type of check or.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think you play in the college for your individual reputation, your individual success. You don't care if your teammate has 0 points and you have 80. You know what I'm saying? Like
I think, yeah, it's definitely an argument, and I don't think anybody really has an answer, at least right now.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
but I think your last points were probably your strongest ones, to be honest. So
I just personally like. Let's say they start getting paid. It's not gonna affect my life in any way.
yeah, it won't. It's really not.
It's just I just think that the first, and how you said making 20, even if they made $1,000 for playing 1 year college ball, that's a lot better than zero. How you said, sure.
Yeah.
And then what about in 10 years? That's not going to be enough. And sure, maybe currency will change. Maybe $1,000 will mean a lot less.
And
later.
they gotta update it. More people go to
it.
school too, so the school's making more money.
Yeah, let's just say that happens.
Yeah.
But I think it is human nature. We do take a lot of things for granted.
And we start to ask more and want more and try to achieve more. But yeah, I don't. It doesn't really bug me. I honestly don't.
Yeah, I'm gonna see the same.
I don't even watch college
players.
sports.
I've never have. Honestly, never will, because I don't see how you can be a college fan if you have a different team every so often.
Yeah, it's literally a.
You watch professional sports because homie's signing a 10-year contract, and that's gonna be your boy on that team for 10 years. You know what I'm saying?
I think Yeah, it's definitely a topic of discussion. I just try to use like my common sense for this, to be honest with you. What do
Yeah,
you think,
I only
Adam?
looked up a couple things. I didn't.
What's your opinion on this whole thing?
I think they should just profit off of it less.
In
Like,
what way?
it shouldn't be a straight monopoly. Like, it shouldn't be straight, like, profit.
So how would they do that?
If you're not going to pay the players, don't make that much money off of it. Make
But how do you
tickets-
control that?
Make tickets cheaper. Make your merch cheaper. Don't pay coaches the millions of dollars.
Yeah, that's bullshit. The fact that
Okay.
coaches are getting $30 million, that's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, a good coach can make a trash team, but there's no reason why you should be getting $30 million, though. That's
Yeah, I
just.
see what you're saying.
Like, Coach K, $30 million, come on now. I get you're Coach K, but you're a fucking coach.
That
Like,
is true. Make tickets cheaper, merch a lot cheaper.
on average, though, how expensive is, like, a fucking t-shirt that says, like, Go Knights?
Probably like $20.
That's too much, I think.
And that's probably
$10.
that's like.
But then again,
that's
how
like
much does it cost
if
to
you
make
go? That's if you go to like Walgreens or something. It's gonna be cheaper somewhere that's not.
Oh, yeah, even at Walmart, you'll see, like,
go-
go FSU or whatever.
You go to
Gators.
You go to UCF into a bookstore and that shit's
The
gonna
markup
be,
price.
That's gonna be
It's
taxed.
the markup price,
It's gonna be
yeah.
taxed. So it's like buying a calculator at the freaking school bookstores. You can like $130 when you can get it for $100.
At Staples, yeah.
Yeah, fuck that.
Leave your opinions in the comments. And,
I don't think we came to an agreement, but I think we're.
I think we both
I
had
think we can
decent
see both
points.
sides too. You definitely. I was definitely way all the way on. They should get paid, but like towards the end, you were kind of swaying me a little bit. So
I don't know. It's just how I say. It's just human nature to always want more. We're greedy. We always want more. We always want more. The simple
nothing's
fact
ever
that, like,
enough.
you're like, for an example, your phone is perfectly fine. It probably works perfectly fine. And once the new one comes out, you'll find an excuse to say why your phone is no longer good enough, and that's why you need a new one. It's human nature. You always want more. You always want what's the best. And sure, you want to be, you want nice things, but it's
It's
just
capitalism
you
too.
get greedy. But
In general,
that's a pretty good place to end it. And
leave your opinions down below.
like, comment, subscribe.
Share.
Tell a friend about the channel. We're just trying to grow, and
We're having a giveaway.
once we hit, what would you say, 70 subscribers, 80
Probably
subscribers?
80.
We'll do a giveaway.
80.
Probably a gift card. We'll see.
It'll be something. It'll be something to give back to y'all who support us and subscribe to the channel, watch it, like, you know what I mean.
That's a wrap
So-
for episode 4.